The merchants here in town offer basic
never realized there'd be such a crowd of wagons trying to cross the river at one time.
Patience, patience. Worrying about it won't do no good. We'll get across the river when our time comes.
We better be careful venturing down this hill. Looks like it could be dangerous.
I'd find some logs or big rocks to use as anchors while going downhill. That would slow our descent and make mishaps less likely.
If you look off in the distance, you can see Chimney Rock looming up like the lofty tower of some town. I don't think I'll tire of gazing on it. You can see it for miles and miles as you travel toward it. As long as we keep heading toward Chimney Rock, we're not likely to stray off the trail.
Chimney Rock by moonlight is awfully sublime. Last night, some Indians came to our wagon with fish to exchange for clothing. We bought a number. They make for a good change of diet. The Indians understand swap and no swap. They seem most anxious to get shirts and socks.
I hear terrible stories about wagon parties running out of food before Oregon, the whole party starving to death. We must check our supplies often. We might not get there as soon as we think. Always plan for the worst, I always say.
Let's move on.
This here's Robideau Pass. I hear it's named after a Frenchman, Joseph Robideau, who's well known in these parts as a trader. Some folks say St. Joseph, Missouri was named after him too, but I don't rightly know about that. Can't say that I do.
I say we continue on our way.
They tell me someone in this wagon train is looking for a doctor. Is that true? Well, to be honest with you, I haven't been in regular practice for a number of years, but I'll be right pleased to do what I can. Next time you get to a town with a decent pharmacist, you might want to stock up on some basic medicines. Of course, you might have a pretty good supply already.
Look at all them carvings on the rock. If that don't beat all. You reckon that's why they call this place Register Rock? Because people register their names on it? What do you say we go on over to the rock and carve our own names on it? Then folks from all over the country will know we were there before them.
I think it's time we be moving on now.
Say, how's it going, friend? I'm doing just fine now that I got me 4 oxen instead of just 2. Well, I thought I was done for back there a ways before Fort Laramie, but I traded all my extra sets of clothing there for 2 more oxen. Are you headed for California? I hear there may be a shortcut that'll get there 2-3 weeks earlier than the regular way.
Time is a-wasting. Let's get out.
I always take some time every few hours to look over the sky carefully.
Top of the day to you, friend.
We can hardly sleep at night with all these mosquitoes buzzing and biting. I wouldn't advise pushing ourselves any harder.
We're in need of a good rest. I'm plumb wore out from the travel, and the animals are in want of extra feed. Some folks is all worried, afraid we might get caught in the winter snows, but we still ought to rest. Rome wasn't built in a day, and one more day on this trail ain't gonna make a bit of difference. Take the hurry out of your step. We'll get there soon enough. Trip won't get any easier for all our rushing along.
I fear we've grown rather shabby. My shoes have worn out, and our clothes have nearly become rags. The trail affords us few opportunities for renovation. We've had some luck fishing, better than hunting sometimes. One gentleman in our party brought some fishing hooks. I do declare those little hooks have saved us a good deal of grief. I do hope you're being sure to give yourselves frequent rests along the way. That's especially important when someone's injured or ailing. And be careful not to push yourselves too hard.
This river doesn't look too deep. Let's ford it.
I reckon fording's the best way to cross this river.
What are we waiting for? Let's cross!
Howdy, friend. Pardon me a bit while I catch my breath. Working with these animals is heavy labor. My mules don't want to go in the water, and I'm having to fight with them all the way. Can't say I blame them. Never thought I'd have to cross so many rivers in all my life. Well, if I had to do it all over again, I don't think I'd take mules. Even more stubborn than a lot of people I know. In fact, first chance I get, I'm going to trade them for some oxen. They're slower, but a lot easier to get along with.
This river doesn't look too deep.
We're plumb tuckered out. Let's rest here.
I say we continue on our way.
Good day to you. My name's Helen Whitney. My family and I are from Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to California. We had a profound religious experience last year and came to the realization that slavery is a terrible evil. We freed our servants and decided to move west, where there is no involuntary servitude. My guidebook says that here at Pacific Springs is the last good water we'll find for the next 10 miles or so. We're entering alkali country, and game will be getting scarce too.
Time is a-wasting. Let's get out.
Hello, I'm Sophie Billings. Now, will you take a look at that? All those people carving their names in the rock out here in the middle of nowhere. Don't think we've had much of a chance to talk. My husband and I are from right outside Memphis, Tennessee. Free black folks aren't any too welcome there right now. That's why we're going west. My brother Gordon, he went out to Oregon last year. Wrote and told me about some people in this wagon train whose animals all died after drinking some bad water. I'd be real careful about that if I were you.
Howdy do, neighbor. Are you in need of my services? You won't...
Howdy.
We ought to take the covers off our wagons before we start across. There's a touch of wind today. I hear the wind can catch a hold of the cover of a wagon and tip it over in the water. Ain't you got no ears? I just told you what I thought we ought to do.
Hello, stranger. I'm Martin Isaacs, originally from New York City. Wouldn't know it from looking at me now, I guess. A man offered me a grand opportunity to see the world, visit some curious places, and benefit my mind and pocket. So I signed up for this journey. I'm a city boy, didn't know what I was getting into. This river looks like it could be treacherous. The cattle don't seem any too eager to cross. We may build a raft and try taking them across that way. I don't think I'd try fording, but I'm not always the best judge of that.
Yes, neighbor, it's a sorrowful man you're meeting. I'm a-heading back home with the children. My wife took the cholera and died, and my youngest child was crushed after falling from the wagon. I'm turning home with a heap of sorrow. Makes no sense going on. This road has cost me dear, and I hear say till now has been the easy part. Turn back while you still got your people. No telling what calamity'll hit you before you reach the new country.
The sound of splashing water is pure music to my ears. You know, most folks hate crossing these rivers, but I have to say that it's a joy to me. It gives me a chance to wash off all the dust from the trail, and when it's hot, the water's mighty cooling. Well, as much as I like it, we oughtn't to be too eager to cross. We should carefully consider the best method first. Say, you look like you could use a good washing yourself.
We should wait a while before crossing.
My brother commenced farming out west 2 years ago. He said a better wheat crop can't be had. I hear a young child in a train just behind us was killed yesterday when a rifle fired accidentally as someone set it in the wagon. They buried that young'un and covered the grave with stones so as the wolves couldn't reach it. Try not to overextend yourself. If you're constantly going at an arduous pace, you increase your chances of someone getting sick or injured. Trust me, I know.
Time is a-wasting. Let's get out.
Hello!
I say we continue on our way.
Hello!
That there's my wagon over on the other side with nothing much in it but a barrel of flour and some bedding. Soon as I get these animals across the river, I'm going after that thieving rascal who robbed me. I paid that varmint $2 to help us cross. That smiling coyote took the wagon cross, and whilst we was preparing the animals, he took the valuables out of the wagon and lit off like a jackrabbit being chased by a bobcat. I'm so darn spittin' mad I can't tell you nothing exceptin' to please get out of my way. And if you see that sow-bellied scoundrel, hold him for me.
I reckon fording's the best way to cross this river.
I'm mad as hornets. Been saving a bunch of dried peaches to bake a pie for a special occasion, but some vermin got in and ruined the whole lot. I wrapped 'em in special paper and put 'em in a corner of the wagon, where nobody would hardly find 'em by accident. I suppose they smelled as sweet as flowers to them varmints. Probably too late now to offer any advice. I don't guess you have an extra tin to secure any of your goods. If'n you do, best make good use of it and seal it tight.
I'm going to St. Louis to have me a look at civilization. The game just ain't so plentiful as it once was, and there's getting to be so many people passing by, I might just as well be in a city. Keep your ears open when you're hunting. One of them big cats pretty near got me last week. So busy thinking about my supper, I almost became supper instead, and trade the Indians for some moccasins. Them shoes of yourn are looking worn.
Top of the day to you, friend. Name's Casey O'Neill, late of...
My dead burned wagon wheel broke a ways back and took me pretty near all day to find someone willing to trade me for a new one. A heap of trouble, this. Fella sold me some green wood of some darn softwood tree for wagon wheels. I knowed I should have brought my own hardwood from home, but no, my partner had to have that fine store-made stuff out of St. Louis. Make no bones about refusing deals if'n they don't sound right to you. They's just a bunch of leeches on us poor immigrants. Make it yourself or buy it off another traveler.
I hate to burden you with my problems, but I just gotta talk to someone right now. I hope you don't mind. My youngest, Caleb, drowned in a swollen creek, and my husband died of typhoid last week. Now I travel alone with my other 3 children. The eldest, Sally, is 11. I fear she'll be full grown before we reach our goal. Heaven help us, but I don't know what I'd do without the good people on my wagon train. I'd stick with them through thick and thin if I were you.
I always take some time every few hours.
Good to see you, friend. You know, I spent some time out west, and now I'm traveling back east to fetch my family. Hope you're prepared. You'll be seeing quite a bit of the elephant further on. Since your animals is already mighty worn, it's gonna be rough. Feed ain't always plentiful, and water's sometimes right scanty. Hurry along, but don't push your animals too hard. You don't want to get caught by early snow, But if you get too hard with your animals, they won't carry 'em more than halfway.
Let's try to get past them other wagons. See how they like to eat our dust.
Time is a-wasting. Let's get out.
Good day to you folks. My name is Philip Maddux. I'm an artist with this surveying expedition. The U.S. government has commissioned us to map the land and to bring back some illustrations of the Indians, as well as the plant and animal life hereabouts. Check your supplies often. Can't stress too much the importance of that. And don't waste a whole lot of time hunting, at least if it isn't an emergency. You won't get much, you'll delay your progress, and you risk antagonizing the local Indians.
Howdy, I'm looking for my cat Molly. Have you seen her? We hear there ain't many cats out west yet, and some folks will pay good money for one, so they can catch the mice and rats. We're hoping Molly will have lots of kittens that we can sell. We had a milk cow, but she died a while back. Now all Molly's got to eat is our meat scraps. If you got a milk cow, take good care of her. I think I miss the fresh milk pretty near as much as Molly does.
Good day to you folks. My name is Philip Maddux. I'm
Back home, I used to enjoy...
Good to see you, friend. You know, I spent some time...
We met a man yesterday who said he'd already been to California.
Howdy, friend. Fine day, isn't it? Least as fine as one can expect right now hereabouts. Be warned. Don't dig a water hole.
I hear the Hastings Cutoff can trim weeks off of one's journey to California.
Whichever way we go, the trail gets rougher than ever. I suggest we stop and rest here a while before moving on.
Maybe we better consult our guidebook before deciding which road to take.
I suggest you look in the guidebook to determine the correct road.
I don't know which way we should go. I figured you would.
That there's my wagon over on the other side with nothing much in it but a barrel of...
Yes, neighbor, it's a sorrowful man you're meeting. I'm a-heading back home with the children.
Ain't this lake a sight? So big and salty, almost like a piece of the ocean right here in the middle of the desert. Why, they say a person couldn't sink in this water if he tried. Not that I'm much interested in trying. As remarkable as this lake is, it doesn't have much to offer. Certainly can't drink this salty water. We'd best get a move on across these alkali flats, don't you think?
I recommend that we take some time to put up some hay for the animals. They won't have any water to drink in the desert ahead, and hay can help them survive.
You know, they say the desert up ahead is mighty fearsome. But in this here valley, there's pretty good growth. Well, I heard some folks back there say that we'd be wise to cut up some of this here grass and lay it up as hay for our animals. It'll help 'em make it through the desert. Let's do as they suggest and lay up some hay. It'll add some extra weight to the wagons, but it may prove to be a lifesaver.
Heck, why waste time fiddling with hay? Let's get a move on.
We should gather up some hay for the animals while we still can.
You say this is called Skull Valley? Well, I don't like the sound of that. Maine, would you fancy spending much time in the Skull Valley? Yes, let's keep moving.
Hey, we just saw a small group of Utes. You know, the ones they call the Diggers, just over that ridge over there. They wanted to trade with us, offered us some of their food, looked like mashed insects and seeds, but we told them we didn't have anything to spare. They didn't seem any too happy about it either. Yeah, let's go. I'm afeared that if those disappointed Utes bring some of their friends back to see us, there may be trouble. We shouldn't be waiting around here.
It says in our guidebook that this is Hastings Pass, at least if I'm reading it correctly. It was named for the explorer and guide Lansford Hastings, who blazed this shortcut to California. According to the guidebook, the Great Salt Lake Desert is dead ahead. Each of us would do well to prepare ourselves for it as best we can.
Let's move on.
Land sakes! Will you look at that? And we gotta go across that for 70 miles before we find any more water? I'm beginning to have serious reservations about the wisdom of this endeavor. I reckon it's too late to turn back now, but I suggest we wait till near nightfall before going further. The desert will be easier to endure when the sun ain't beating down on us. And when we go, maybe we ought to push ourselves as fast as we can.
I was afraid we'd come to something like this. I mean a desert such as we've never seen before and aren't likely to see again, one way or another. They say it's 70 miles across, more than a day's journey. We'd best not attempt it in the heat of the day.
Water! Thank heavens! We made it across that blasted desert to water. The water here don't look so good. Kinda scummy. Smells bad, too. But it's wet, and that's what counts. I don't know how much further we could have gone without it. Watch them livestock to make sure they don't drink too much. They're crazy with thirst, but you can only let them drink a little bit at first. Prepare to take a strong hold of them.
Thank heavens we made it across that desert. For a while there, I thought we were done for.
That desert was dreadful. Half of my oxen died, and I had to abandon all of my supplies, save the very essentials.
Well, now I've surely seen the elephant. I mean, the desert was just about all that a human being can stand. I'm at the limits of my endurance. Well, we certainly can't turn around and go back now. That'd be the death of me. After we rest up here a bit, I reckon we just gotta keep pushing on.
I sure hope we don't face anything like that desert again. That was by far the worst time of my life.
The dust sometimes creates such a trouble, it suffocates the animals and people alike. When it's real bad, nothing stays clean and no morsel of food is left untouched. I long for a bath and a breath of clean, sweet air. But the times when we run low of water and aren't near a river, them's the worst. Nothing worries me more than a shortage of water. I feel I was wholly unprepared for this journey. I'd hesitate to offer any advice excepting to stay close to the warm hearth of home.
Good to see you, friend. You know, I spent some time out west, and now
I'm Natalia Yanukovych. My family is going to the big valley in the west, where there is so much good land. We are from St. Petersburg. We have many great mountains in Russia, but not near where we lived. I have never seen such mountains as the ones here in America. At the next hills or mountains we come to, we will share with another wagon to do what they call double teaming animals. Maybe that will work well for you.
Oh, look at all the water in this lake, and Daddy says it's good water. Not that bad water like we've had for so many days now. Daddy says this is called Snow Water Lake, 'cause it's filled with water from the snow mountain in the mountains. That's why the water is so good. Can we stop and rest here for a while? I know everybody says we gotta keep moving, but we're awful tired. Our poor oxen need a good rest too. And this fresh water makes it a good place to rest, don't it?
Time is a-wasting. Let's get out. Time is a-wasting. Let's get out.
You know, this riverbank makes for a good restin' place. Let's rest here a time before crossin'.
I reckon fording's the best way to cross this river.
This river doesn't look too deep. Let's ford it.
I don't like the looks of the river right now. Let's wait before crossing.
I'm pretty sure this is where the Applegate Cutoff splits away from the main road to California. If we go northwest from here, we'll head into northern California and southern Oregon. There's deserts up ahead, whichever way we go. Maybe we ought to take advantage of some of this growth here and lay up some hay for our animals. They might need it.
I recommend that we take the Applegate Cutoff.
¡Ah! ¡Más emigrantes, ah! Por donde vas te topas con ellos. No hablo inglés, pero sí hablo idiomas indígenas, los cuales me ayudan a comerciar con ellos. No muchos americanos hablan estos idiomas. Le aconsejo que junte algo de forraje en esta pradera. Sus animales lo necesitarán en el desierto que viene más adelante. ¡Adiós! ¡Y buena suerte!
It says here in the guidebook that this is Big Meadows, at least if I understand it correctly. The writer says here that this is one of the few places around here where there's usually enough grass to cut for hay. The book recommends that we cut some grass here and store it in our wagons as hay for our draft animals. Says that there's some awful deserts ahead, and since there's no water, the hay'll help keep our animals alive. Too bad we can't eat hay, too.
I recommend that we take some time to put up some hay for the animals. They won't have any water to... It says here that this is Humboldt Sink. Used to be called Mary's Sink before people started calling the old Mary's River the Humboldt River. This is what the Humboldt River flows into, like a giant shallow sandy puddle full of foul water. Then the water just sinks down into the sand or evaporates away in the desert sun. I wouldn't drink any of this water or let my animals do it. Looks and smells awful. It'd be best to wait till we find something better. This stagnant water could make us sick.
We mustn't let anything stop us or slow us down. We have to keep pressing on.
What are we waiting for? Let's cross.
This river doesn't look too deep. Let's ford it.
Howdy, we're having to lighten the load on our wagon. I've carried my mother's framed mirror all the way from home. It's with great effort that I cast off this last gentle reminder of the dear friends and family I've left behind, but our success in reaching the end of the trail is of greater import. None save to do whatever you can to make the work on your animals a little easier. Lighten your load, rest 'em often, take good care of 'em. If you lose your animals, you're in danger of losing your life.
Back home, I used to enjoy.
I'm going to St. Louis to have me a look at civilization. The game just ain't so plentiful as it once was, and there's getting to be so many people passing by, I might just as well be in a city. Keep your ears open when you're hunting. One of them big cats pretty near got me last week. So busy thinking about my supper, I almost became supper instead. And trade the Indians for some moccasins. Them shoes of yourn are looking worn.
You know, a lot of you greenhorns heading across the country don't know much about surviving in the mountains. It gets awful cold even in summer. Many a traveler crossing the mountains too late in the year has gotten snowbound and died. You get yourself across the mountains 'fore winter comes, or you'll be too dead to be sorry.
I've seen bigger anthills than this. What's the delay?
Before we decide how or even when to go up this hill, we should consider the weather and the condition of the ground.
I'm not sure what we should do. It's awful hard to travel in all this snow, but if we don't keep moving, we could wind up snowbound.
Can't make much progress in weather like this. It would be risky to continue until the snow lets up.
We shouldn't stay put and let the snow pile up around us. We might get trapped. Let's keep going.
I'm not sure what we should do.
I don't think we should try to go anywhere with this much snow piled about.
We're going to have to dig ourselves out of this snow before we can continue.
It would be a terrible strain on our animals and wagons, not to mention ourselves, if we try to push onward in this snow.
What's a little snow? Let's keep going.
It would be a terrible strain on our...
I'll admit that it's probably best for us to keep pressing on despite the cold, but I do wish we could just slow the pace a little.
Let's quicken the pace. That'll keep us warm, and maybe we can find some shelter further down the road.
I recommend that we halt the wagon train for a time being and warm ourselves around the campfires.
Let's quicken the pace. That'll...
They'd better take care of themselves. Bad colds can easily turn into something much worse.
I think we ought to stop for a couple of days. When people are all tuckered out, they tend to get sick, like this.
Maybe we better consult our guidebook before deciding which road to take.
Which way is west?
I suggest you look in the guidebook to determine the correct road.
Maybe we better consult our guidebook.
Land sakes! The trail round through here looks like it was hit by a tornado. Bits of stuff scattered all about the place. There's food tins, cast-off furniture, and goods of all descriptions. I reckon lots of folks don't plan too well, and they wind up having to lighten their loads. When I see that abandoned flour and bacon, I can't help but think about the hungry miles there'll be up in the mountains. If you gotta lighten your load, spend some time thinking about the trail ahead. You'll need food and warm clothes more than anything else.
I'm going to St. Louis to have me a look at civilization.
The dust sometimes creates such a...
I'm Isabella. I'm traveling with the Raleighs and their people. My job is to keep after the cows and watch the children. My husband Fred is the ox driver. Best there is. I was born in Delaware. My father used to tell me stories of Africa and promise one day we'd find ourselves going home. But I don't know if I'm getting closer or farther away with all this walking. Keep a good eye on those animals of yours and don't let them get too overtired. A dead animal's no good to nobody except maybe the butcher. And out here in this awful place, I'd rather be moving than eating.
We met a man yesterday who said he'd already been to California. His report bore a good account of the country and the quality of the land to be had. That was a relief to hear. Thunderation! I've been working for other folks all my life. In the new land, I'm going to have my own land and herd. Yes, sir, I can hear them cattle calling my name. I hear California's the best place for raising cattle. Acres of wild oats keep 'em fat and happy. Oregon's more country for farming and lumbering.
Land sakes! The trail...
Howdy, we're having to lighten the load on our wagon.
I always take some time every few hours to look over the...
Let's move on.
Pleased to see you. You folks missed a good time last night. Another train camped close by, and we had a bit of a dance. I declare, my tired feet came to life hearing that fiddler. I danced aplenty. It feels nearly like back home to have neighbors and a gathering. I've made some dear friends whom I hope will continue to see in years to come. Partake of a bit of music whenever it's offered. It'll lighten your spirits and bring lots of fine memories to carry you through the following day. My heart's so light right now, this washing chore hardly feels like work at all.
I recommend that we halt the wagon train for a time being and warm ourselves around the campfires.
What? Stop and rest in this here freezing weather? Heck, if you ask me, we better keep moving.
I'll admit that it's probably best for us to keep pressing on despite the cold, but I do wish we could just slow the pace a little.
We should wait a while before crossing.
I don't like the looks of the river right now. Let's wait before crossing.
Welcome, folks. Pleased to meet you. Sorry we can't boast much in the way of accommodations. The few quarters here ain't a heap much bigger than a monk's cell. We'd be mighty appreciative of a bit of entertainment in the evening. Most travelers come around to share a bit of news, and there's always somebody who can tell a good tale. You could try that bit of level ground just over yonder for camping.
Buenos dias.
Hello, friend. Come in, come in. My name is Johann Suter. Well, I've taken to using the name John instead of Johann in the American fashion. So many Americans moving here, you know. I built this fort both as a trading post and as a place where immigrants to the Sacramento Valley can start getting themselves settled. I envision great things for the Sacramento Valley, There's good farmland roundabouts. Work hard, and you'll do well. I've got plans to establish a city here. I'm calling it New Helvetia. Helvetia is the Latin name for Switzerland, my European homeland. But California's my home now.
Buenos dias.
Wait a minute. Just let me finish writing this in my diary. There. You know, I don't know what we'd do if it weren't for these forts along the way. It sure is a comfort to me knowing that, even way out here in the wilderness, every now and then there's a place where we can relax a spell. I vote we stay here a couple days and rest up. It won't do any of us no good if we exhaust ourselves.
It always pleases me to see more people moving out west. This'll be a great and grand country someday, you know. Why expanding the horizons of civilization out here in the wilderness? Just thrills me to the bone to think on it. Don't be led astray by anyone or anything promising shortcuts or quick fixes. They ain't any. Stay on the main trail and work hard. That's the only sure path.
Howdy.
This might be a good place to rest a while. Just what I said. We've done enough traveling for the time being. It won't hurt to stop for a day or two. Yeah, listen to what I'm saying. Let's stop here to rest.